Hi, I'm John from Phantom Bikes. I'm here to show you how to assemble your new electric bike. First things you're going to need are some tools. So you're going to need metric tools. You've got your metric 5mm Allen wrench, a 4mm Allen wrench. You're going to need a pair of wire cutters, a 15mm wrench, a 13mm wrench, and two 10mm wrenches. Let's get started. So we'll put the tools aside. I've already pre-opened the box, so we're going to open the box up. I'm going to drop this down forward, and that's what your bike looks like when it's inside. Let's take it apart and start assembling. You got your front tire, be careful to take that off. You got your box with all your good stuff in it. This is your battery box. Your seat. And your bike. Now what we're going to do is we're going to unwrap the bike and take the handlebars off. This is where your pair of wire cutters come in handy. Now up here, you're going to need your 5mm Allen wrench. You're going to remove this little rubber plug and unscrew the cap. Cut off the zip tie. Slide your handlebars on. Replace your cap. You can adjust this later, but tighten your cap down all the way, nice and tight. That's what holds the whole front end together. Then you can replace your cap so you don't lose it. Now I'm going to take off all the rest of the packing so you can see the actual bike. Okay, now we have your whole bike unwrapped. This is what it looks like. Now what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on the front end. So we're going to need a 5mm Allen wrench and a 4mm Allen wrench. So remember that plug I told you to replace? Take it back out. We're going to loosen this up just a little bit so we can get it all in a line. So everything is straight. Lock it down, tighten it up. Now we're going to use the 4mm Allen wrench and we're going to tighten up the outer bolts. There's one on each side. Done. Okay, now we're going to mount, oh, got to put your little plug back in. Now we're going to mount your front fender. This is where you're going to need the two 10mm wrenches. So your front fender will slide up through the bottom of the fork on an angle, come up, and there's a nut and a bolt up here. We're going to loosen that. Take that out a little ways. We are going to slide the bracket up, and the bolt is going to go through the bracket. Put on the big washer, then the nut. Now don't tighten this up yet because it's going to be adjusted once you have the front wheel put on. Now your two fender stays down here at the bottom. Unscrew the nuts, take the washers off. Can't get that washer off. put on the fender stay, washer, nut, and don't tighten those up all the way either. And do the same on the other side. Now your fender's in place. Next thing we're going to do is mount the front tire. Now this is a little bit difficult. Take off the plastic housings, undo the nuts, take off both sets of washers, and if you notice, on one side of the wheel there's a brake arm. This is very crucial. This needs to go inside this piece here. So I'll show you. The way I do it is I put the kickstand down, I raise the front of the bike up, and I pull out that little plastic piece, and I just set the wheel in the front fork. Now it can rest on its kickstand. I take the brake arm, and grabbing the fork on one side, I lift the bike, turn the brake arm around, make sure it's sitting in the cradle, and let it sit. Now it's in. These pieces go on first. Those are safety locks. Then a washer. Then your acorn nut. Same on the other side. Washer with the little groove on it. Flat washer and the acorn nut. Now you need your 15mm wrench. So what I do now is I align the tire in between the forks, make sure that it's equal distance on both sides, and tighten it up. And you're finished with that part. Now it's time to mount your front brake cable. So your brake cable is going to come down here. There's a cable hold with a plastic cap on it. You're just going to remove the cap, put the brake cable in place, and replace the cap. That holds the cable in place. Then you come down here, pull your cable up, and you have the cable guide. Your brake cable is going to come around through the fork coming out the front side, and this part is going to mount onto your brake arm. Then at the bottom of the cable you have this piece which is going to mount onto your brake lever. You have to pull the brake lever up and slide the cable underneath, like so. Now your front brake is ready to go. Perfect. Now that we have the front brake hooked up, let's go ahead and tighten up and align the front fender. In this you're going to need a 5mm Allen wrench and two 10mm wrenches. So first of all, we want to push the fender down as low as we can get it in its cradle and tighten the nut and the bolt. Then we want to make sure that the fender is aligned and that the fender stays are not rubbing on the tire on either side. Take your 5mm, screw this outside bolt all the way in, and tighten the nut on the other side. Perfect. Do the same on the other side. We're now going to attach the rear brake cable and the shifter cable to the frame. This is done very easily. You take your shifter cable, push it up against your cable hold. There's already a zip tie there. Come around and zip tie it in place, nice and tight. Take a pair of wire cutters and cut off the excess of the zip tie. Push that around, and you do the same to the other side. Now that we've attached the rear brake cable and the shifter cable to the frame, let's go ahead and attach your electronics together. The electronics are color coded, so your green is going to go to your green, and your yellows are going to go to the yellows. So first of all, each one has an arrow on it. On their little, there's an arrow here on the green one, and then there's an arrow there on the green one. The arrows go to each other, so, and you push and put them in. Same with all the other ones. Now your electronics are hooked up. So now that that's finished, let's mount the seat. You're going to need a 13mm wrench and a 5mm Allen wrench. So first of all, we have to loosen the seat up so we can pull the seat post out. Let's take the seat post and slide it in to whatever height that you would like. Then tighten it with the 5mm Allen wrench. Now we're going to put your seat on. Straighten it out. Get it nice where you'd like it. And tighten it in place. Straighten it, and then finish tightening. Perfect. Now we're going to mount the pedals. That's what's inside this box. As you can see, it says charger, pedals, instruction book, touch-up paint, and a tail light. So let's go ahead and open this up. Pull out the pedals. For these, you're going to need a 15mm wrench. Now there is a left pedal and there is a right pedal. The pedal that has the ridges on the bolt, there's little ridges right here, that's your left side. The one that is smooth is your right side. So let's go ahead and mount those. The right side screws in standard, clockwise. The left side pedal screws in counterclockwise. Remove the zip tie. And then tighten those up with a 15mm wrench and you're set. Okay, we're almost finished. Now let's mount the battery. So unbox it. And we have a battery inside. You take the battery out. Carefully put it in the cradle, slide it down, and you're set. It also comes with a set of keys. The keys are used to lock the battery in place. So on the left side of the battery, there's a keyhole. Put the key in, turn it, make sure the battery's in place, turn it, pull the key out, now your battery's locked in place. Guess what? Now you're finished. Let's power everything on. Make sure it works. So we're going to come down here on the handlebars is your control unit to your LED screen. You're going to push the power button and hold it, and everything turns on. It gives you your battery level, your pedal assist mode, your speedometer. So let's put it on level 5 and let's test it to see if the actual motors will work. It looks like we have power. And we'll check the headlight, make sure it turns on. And it looks like we've got power. All right. Now that it's finished, have a safe ride and always wear a helmet. Thank you.